Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to episode 2 of Chai, Biscuit, or Dramay. I'm your host, one of your hosts, Mavish, with Harim and Sadaf. Sadaf, akele akele ice cream खा रही है.
It's so good.
Vanilla? What flavor is that?
It's cheesecake fantasy.
Ooh.
Oh,
Nice.
much better than vanilla.
Yeah.
अच्छा, तुम खाओ. हम
I
नजर
will.
लगाते.
You guys carry on. Carry on.
हम नजर लगाते. तुम खाओ. So last episode we discussed 4 dramas: Dilavez, Angna, Dabara, and Bacha Begum, and then we realized it's getting too long, so we decided to save the others for this episode.
Talk a lot.
And and also we just बहुत बातें करते हैं हम लोग जब जमा जाते हैं. So we're hoping we can do Fraud, Badzaat, Mere Humsafar, Aik Sitam Aur, and a special little corner for Habs, because only Harim is watching that right now.
Yeah.
So let's start out with Fraud.
Yeah.
It's a newer drama, so there's only 5 episodes so far.
Yeah, 5 episodes.
5th was
But
this
It's very
2
fast
days
though.
ago.
This
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
Friday?
5th was on Saturday. It comes on Saturday.
Saturdays, Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a fast-paced drama. Again, I like it because it's different, and it has a different feel to it. When I watched the first episode, actually though, the first episode I watched it like in Pakistani. Like I turned it on and there was stuff going on in the background in my house, so I kind of turned it off. I was like, "Samajh mein nahi aa rahi." And then I turned it on again, and I was like, "You get so deep to like start like it just
Yeah.
like
It
it
had
had
all
a weird
these,
feel to it."
It had all these bats all of a sudden, right? I was like, where'd they get all these bats from?
Yeah.
Remember?
Are you
It was her
serious?
dream. It was her dream. And
Yeah,
it was
she
like
was
all these bats.
dreaming. Yeah.
I
So
saw-
it started out, and then finally I was like, no, I'm gonna sit down. It's Sabah Qamar, who's one of my favorite actresses, because she always does versatile things. I was like, I'm gonna go through. I'm gonna force myself to watch it. So I put it on at night where nobody was awake, and I got through it, and I was like, oh, that's really interesting. And then the story evolved. I'm still unsure of Mikal's
Yeah.
family and what's going to happen, but it's interesting as well. So the 3 main people are Ehsan Khan, Sabah Qamar, and Mikal Zulfikar, 3 really great actors and actresses from our drama industry. And then the veterans, of course, are also very, very well cast. And like Hadim said, fast-paced. Sabah Qamar, we've already found out the fraud that happened to her. I'm hoping that Sabah Qamar is the one who can pull off a hero role, and I say hero just because she can like she won't be like crying for long. I hope, but like she's the kind of jump into action. So let's see what happens with her. Sadaf, have you been watching?
So okay. So I saw it when it was like her, I think, cousin brought other stuff for her.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of a little bit funny scene, because it was like the dad was kind of mean to the sister and then said, I don't want to hurt you or whatever.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. I was like, this is interesting,
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I didn't watch the rest, but I did watch the 5th episode on Saturday. And I was like, oh wait, this already happened. Like she already got betrayed or whatever, and like the fraud happened. Like, so that really got me interested in it. And I was like, thank you. So I was just like interested now. So I'm definitely I'm planning on watching it.
Yeah.
And Hadim, you watched all 5?
Yeah. I've watched all 5, and was very surprised that like all of a sudden like Shadi bhi ho gayi, and then they've already left her. Because then I think the 4th episode was when you were like, oh, something's not right, where they start, where they
jewelry रखवा लेते
हैं, and like then she gets the check, and like it ends up being like he needs exactly B slot, and that's the amount that she has. So that's like, so
अचानक death हो जाती है, and they all have to go to the funeral without her.
Yeah, and the other thing was in the 3rd episode when they came for like the rishta, the mother was like showing like all of like her jewelry and stuff like that, and I was like thinking, yeah, I mean, that's like a tactic that they use. Like, hey, let's make sure that these guys have something before we like,
before we,
and like that it's worth it to like do all this. So
Yeah, they have to do reconnaissance for the con. Yeah.
I personally thought that it would be, when I should have known better because, like you said, Sabah Kamar's in it, and so usually she does dramas that have interesting stories.
Mm-hmm.
But I really thought that Fraud was going to be about, like, it's going to just teach, like, them, what is it even called? Doing fraud with her? I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, the con.
But, like,
defrauding her.
Yeah. So more, like, for more episodes, and eventually she finds out or whatever. So, but this seems like it might be the story about her somehow maybe getting revenge or something.
Yeah. That would be interesting. Yeah. And how McGaw's gonna factor into it, because he's got something else, like with his like stepmother, whose wife left him, and so that'll be interesting also to see.
I will say the scene where she goes to the house and it's like everything's changed, and that was so sad.
It was so sad. Yeah. And you doubly feel sorry for her because she really loved her cousin. Like, she had no greed, or never wanted like a rich guy or anything. She was a simple girl, simple one. She just wanted to marry. She had a decent guy waiting to marry her. Just he wasn't settled yet. He was still looking for a job. And then her dad, like, and she follows her dad. So, like, as a daughter and as a character, she does everything right. So it's also doubly hard to see that happen to someone like that.
Yeah, and it doesn't come off, at least from what I saw, it didn't come off as her being the bichari that's, bajo keh rahe karna pade. In a way, like, she's following what he's saying, but it didn't, I don't know, to me, maybe it's just Sabah Kamar, but she doesn't come off as bichari, like.
Oh, yeah, you don't ever believe that she's.
Yeah, and I like how the Popo and the guy didn't all of a sudden go, oh, how dare they do this to us or whatever. They're actually good people,
Yeah.
Well, the cousin is like a little and rightfully so. I think like what the Mamu said was, it's damaging.
That was
but yeah, you're right. At least like. Oh yeah. It's not like he's just like homogeneous or like he's gloating or something like they kakawa or anything like that. Yeah, he that's good. And the sister too. Yeah, like she's genuinely like. Once for
and I think they showed a nice sister relationship in this too. That like the younger sister is not like jealous. Oh, behan ki shaadi badi khadmik mein ho gayi and stuff like that. Like they were. Generally close
but she was kind of saying something, right? Like where the mom comes up and like, iski shaadi isliye nahi karegi tum farmaishein karo or something. So I think she was asking for something.
Oh yeah.
Not this past episode, maybe 2 episodes ago.
Yeah. She was just saying to go
but not in a bad way. I'm not saying like it was just one of those like like oh yeah dilade or something like that. Yeah. So far it's a 5 biscuit drama for me. It's going really well.
I like the pace. I like the pace of that. I felt like much different than in Cheek, where like, but I guess Cheek was like it went up like I think on like the first or second episode was when her friend died, right?
With Cheek, with Cheek, they revealed the killer too quick. They did that. That everybody lost interest once you figured it out.
Yeah, and then she was tortured for like I don't know how many episodes. So
I thought from the first episode that it was supposed to be a mystery.
Yeah,
so I didn't like that it wasn't.
Yeah. So,
but so good drama.
Yeah,
good drama. And it's pretty new, so really we don't have that much to say about it anyway. It's only been 5 episodes, but every week we see what happens. Aik Sitam Aur, you want to move on to that?
Oh my god, my spoon down. I have to put my spoon down for this one.
Full disclosure, I've only seen 1 episode. So these 2 annoying people kept talking about the chemistry of the main couple, and I was kind of like, fine, I'll go check it out, okay? It was cute. The episode I saw was cute. Now, I'm probably not as invested because I didn't see the progression or character development, but I agree, it was cute. A huge shout out to the texting scene. For 2 reasons. The dialogues were cute, so the writer did a really good job.
It wasn't cringy. There was no like it was cringe.
The cringe is Sufyan. You can talk about him later. And then also shout out to the editor who put the text on the screen. Thank you very much. Because when you show us a text on a phone, we have to pause the YouTube video walk up to the TV screen, turn up the
Oh my
brightness or
God.
something. It's so hard to read on. Is it just me though? Like my old
That's not
eyes or
you.
something?
I mean,
Just please.
I'm usually watching on my phone, so I'll have to pause it on my phone.
Yeah, you do have to
Yeah.
pause it, right? This is so much
Yeah.
easier to just read, and it
Yeah.
was in phonetic
It
English.
flowed, and it
Plus,
flowed.
you
So
got their
thank
expressions
you from
Yeah,
too.
people abroad.
yeah, you got the expressions too. That was good.
They did a good job. Yeah.
So the
So
drama has
biscuits to
Osama.
the editor and biscuits to the writer.
Oh
We
my
give a
God, this
lot
is
of
gonna get
biscuits
all my
to get a lot of biscuits to actors, but honestly, without good writing and good editing,
biscuits.
yeah,
Biscuits for
biscuits
everybody.
for everyone.
Everybody.
You get a biscuit and
The
you get a biscuit. You're like Oprah. Okay, so that's my 2 cents on the drama of what
Yeah,
I've seen so far. Oh, cast is really good too. Mario
cast is
is gorgeous.
Mario Stay so
Amazing,
amazing. Love
mashallah.
her.
They brought a few older, like, veteran stars that I haven't seen. Adnan Jilani, who someone we knew thought was about as big. No, but he's not an actor, he's a singer. This
She
person
looks
is a
way
little
back.
younger, so okay.
Yeah,
We'll forgive her. But
We'll forgive, yeah.
but yeah, Adnan Jilani. I liked Adnan Jilani when he was an actor, even when he used to come as heroes. He's a good actor. Okay,
yeah,
Yeah.
so now Heidi, you still want to give some
yeah.
brief synopsis or no? I mean, if
So,
people are
I
watching,
mean, we've got Damari Vastia's, Zainab, who is the mother of Ushna, and her husband dies, and she kind of goes through all these struggles where it's like her family is pretty terrible to her. She's having like financial problems and stuff like that, and so her family gets her married off to this rich, man who has a wife already and a son, who Ushna has run into a couple times. Um, and it was funny. I rewatched the scene the other day where he like ran her over basically, and then she threw a rock and
Yeah.
hit and broke his the back window. Or
Yeah.
yeah, so that
I
I thought
saw
that was
that
like a
too.
really funny because like that's good, and I thought
the
that was
back
really funny
window
because like
broke
yeah,
from the rock, but not from the
yeah.
bullet.
We'll get to that. So yeah, so I thought that was because like, and so that's what was the funny thing because like Oshna like gives back as much as like as much as Shadows like was being and he has the power in that like he's rich and stuff like that, and so but she gives it back like
Yeah.
every time. So I thought that
Very
was
good.
like, and so like their hate to love is really nice to see.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Ushna is adopted, and so there she ends up finding out
In a really
because
sad way.
in a really sad way, and her
Yeah,
basically her cousin
Yeah, who-
Jan really wants to marry her, and
decide
her
it's a
mom wants
great
her to marry.
idea.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, claims to love her.
yeah, claims to love her, but
Yeah.
tells her this, and she's like devastated and stuff. But she
Yeah.
works things out with her mom, and she ends up marrying or having her being nikah to Shadows, and now they're starting to really like each other, which is nice to see that like progression into them. Like, and I think it was really like the turning point for her was like, okay, when we've got our nikahs done, he's not a terrible person, and then he also helped her out. Like he took care of her mom when she was sick, and then
Yeah.
that really sweet scene in the cemetery and stuff where she was
Yes.
like crying over her dad's grave and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
and that
Oh,
was
that's
like
really
yeah.
nice. Oh, that's
Yeah,
good.
so
It's
So
just
yeah,
really well.
has Sufyan bowed out of the race
no,
gracefully, or
no. Abu
oh,
Suzid.
what a shocker! Like, how
Even
refreshing would it
though
be to see in a Pakistani drama a guy goes, "It's okay, you don't
Yeah,
love me.
she's happy,
and she
Um,
and then
I
the
love
thing,
you, and I want you to be happy, even if it's not
yeah,
with me."
yeah,
yes, that's what
the
she even said this episode. Remember, she
yeah,
was like,
Oh, she
"Go
did?
ahead."
Oh, wow. I swear I
yeah.
haven't seen
Mhm.
it, but
The thing that annoyed me though was that he kept saying to her like, "Mujhe pata hai tum mujhe pasand karti ho" and stuff like that, and she never once
oh
said
my
that.
God.
And
Yeah, yeah,
so she never
Because
once
the man always knows.
she may have like indicated like she was like because he was like the only person nice to her, but she was
the only
never
choice.
yeah she was never like in love with him. So that was the thing
Yeah.
that like annoyed me the most because he wasn't like the galat fehmi that that she loved him as much as he loved her and stuff.
Why
So
did he ever stick up for her? Because I know you've explained to me that his
so
mom was horrible to them, and
So the thing was, he stuck up for her when it was convenient for him. So
Oh,
like
okay.
when he wanted to marry her, and his parents said no, he left the house, right?
Yeah.
Oh. No, so
And
while she was there, living there,
yeah,
and through
that's
the
what.
zona. Oh, okay.
So
This
that's what
happened when they
happened.
were there. Okay.
And so by him leaving the house, they were blaming her more because they were like, "Oh, तुम्हारी वजह से हमारा बेटा चले गया."
Oh.
Right? And so she said that to him. She's like, "You made things worse for me in this house by leaving.
Yeah.
Like I didn't ask. I didn't say I want to marry you. Like don't, So
Wait, तो
that was the thing.
उसने उसको
And
मना
then
किया तो वो घर छोड़ के चला गया, like.
No,
his parents.
the parents.
Oh,
Parents.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, he's this tall guy with like the mind of a 12-year-old child, and he could not take no for an answer. And he was throwing a temper tantrum. Basically.
Yeah, that was it. And then the other thing was, so when it was convenient for him, because what was happening was that Zainab wanted his stuff from her brother so she could be financially stable, and they were they were blackmailing her and saying like, oh, we're going to tell Oshna that she's adopted, and so
to keep her from getting her history.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so so when he that's how he found out that Oshna was adopted, and then his dad was like to him. So basically, he was helping Ushna like go to the lawyer and get like the hissa and stuff, and then Zainab shut it down because of she was afraid she was going to find out.
Yeah.
And then his dad was like, "Oh, I'm gonna like do what I can to help you marry Ushna. Just if you come back and like show me that you're going to work hard and blah blah blah, like in their office." And so then he stayed quiet, and then he also let Zainab and then so Zainab ended up marrying Wahab because again they were blackmailing and everything like that. So like. He was using that to like his own thing because he could have stopped the wedding and he could have said like, no, you don't have to get married. I'm going to help you get your hissa, and then you don't have to worry about Ushna like being like blackmailing like that they're going to tell her because I'm going to make sure my parents don't do that. Like,
basically, they've shown it more as an obsession or something that like kind of like a cycle love rather than an actual love.
And then he was like to Zainab at one point. It's like, oh, अगर इसके साथ like कोई जुल्म होगा then मैं like अलग घर ले लूँगा and stuff like that. And Zainab was like, no, I can't like trust that because like she knows how terrible the family has been.
And stuff, or
So I'm glad that Zainab didn't made sure like she made sure she was like, I'm not gonna let my daughter be in a situation where I know that these people are terrible.
But the whole but they're just the build up with them from haters. It's just so
it's very
well
cute.
done.
It's very well done.
And
it wasn't
immediate together was
It wasn't immediate either. That was like what I liked.
Yeah, exactly. So you were like waiting. You were like, come on, just get there already, get there. And that's the best kind of with anything. If you read a book or anything,
it's the
you need to build up that chemistry. Yes. Yeah. I've seen some that, kind of like right at the start, they just, and it's like, I don't feel anything, it's like, so that was really good. And Osama and Anmol's chemistry is just like super, super, super great. Yeah. So I know they've done stuff together before, and I hope they continue to.
Yeah.
These two characters are amazing.
And we'll say Osama's been giving Farhan a run for his money as the romantic hero because he's done really well. Like his delivery of the lines of very expressive eyes and stuff like that.
Yeah. And I might have seen him in other stuff before, but Dubata was kind of the thing that I first really saw him in, and of course you hate him in it because, and that's obviously
he did his job.
His acting.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. But here it's like technically he's supposed to be like Carusa or whatever, which is funny because she has that as his name in the phone.
Yeah.
But
that was funny.
You like him, like he's still likable, Carus.
Yeah. And fun fact. Maria Wasti was in a drama called Aik Sitam Aur, and Osama Khan was in a drama called Sitam.
Oh my god! Were those dramas hits? Maybe this is the thing with the name.
Sitam was like, was
terrible. Okay.
She can't find the words to describe it. It was such a sitam.
The twists and turns in that drama were like mind blowing, but
wow.
But I'm glad like Osama Khan has like moved on from like that drama to this.
And like wardrobe in this drama, I just have to say, amazing. Again, with the thing, we're giving biscuits to everybody in this drama because everybody did their job really great, on point, everything. So, and I want to shout out to the writer as well. I believe it's Rihanna Aftab.
Yes.
And
really well.
So just I mean, a lot of claps and stuff for her. So
the one complaint that I have is that they didn't have like an Ocean in the Shadows like background music. So like they've been using like the background music that they use for like Sufyan and Ushna, and the one that they use for Shadows and Danesha, who he was like engaged to first. So they're using the same. So it's like when you are using that background music from the start and you've associated that couple with that background music, and then they're using it on the main couple, it just I don't know. It doesn't.
Music?
It's not the drama music. But it's just like a background.
Wow, but
so
it's like
they would have. But that's the thing, is like they've used like music in such a way, like the background music in such a way to like say this is that
it associates with certain things. Yeah.
And this is this couple, like this, when you hear this just remind you of this couple. So then when they felt like they should have had their own like medley or whatever.
They should, if they're the main couple. Yeah. They should have something unique.
That's probably like the only complaint I have, because then when you hear it, when you watch the scenes and you hear it, you kind of like think back to those scenes with like, you know, with when he was like engaged originally, or Krishna and Sufyan. So
I wish somebody would from the beginning to the end, whenever it ends, I wish somebody would just take Ushna and Shahroza's scenes, all of them, and just put them in one like video for me, and I could just rewatch over and over.
Very.
Send it to a music video. That would be nice. You can do it
so cute.
Yeah,
you used to edit videos. It's funny.
So we're good with Aik Sitam Aur, the 5 biscuits.
I mean, I know you two can go on and on about it. I will.
Yeah, I mean,
hopefully, I'll watch a few more episodes by the next episode. So
the other complaint I had was that when Shadows got shot through the car, the windshield did not break.
Yeah.
That's another oversight by editing. Yeah.
I mean, well,
and he got shot in the heart. So like.
But then in this episode, Ushna says something like, "Agar aapko goli lag jati to."
What?
No.
So
she was saying that he got grazed by the bullet and it didn't go inside of him.
Right. So it.
Yeah. Like, so she was saying if it went inside you, then it would have even been worse.
Because we were thinking, I thought, because I didn't realize that it just grazed him. I didn't catch it.
So now we'll kind of see a little bit more of the conflict. And I think Osama Khan said that on his Instagram. He was responding to somebody that this is gonna air until Eid. So
now I'm starting.
Okay.
I'm starting to have anxiety.
14, 15 more episodes. So
and then in our chats today with Sidra, you guys were talking about that stuff is starting to happen. Like Shahroza's mom is now.
Well, So
that was today's episode, or
so it's gonna go into tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah. So Zainab, I don't really know, because she already knows how terrible her family is, but she's going to say that there's no way that Sufyan could have tried to kill. Yeah,
she's going to defend her nephew, the psycho.
Over her Damat. So, not really.
Well, she's technically defending him over the Bobby, because the Bobby's the one who said, "I heard it," which it's not like she's lying about it. But it's not like I don't think Shahroz, because Shahroz didn't see who shot at him, and that it wasn't Sufyan in person anyway. But I do, so but the thing is, like, I don't know, like, she knows how they are, and she should understand by now that Sufyan's kind of crazy about Ushna. I don't know. It's kind of, so now basically
maybe it's just like, I think the moral really is like, if you have the toxic family, the best thing to do is to stay away from them and like cut them out of your life. And then I think what they're gonna see is like, what happens when you don't, which then when she's gonna dig herself into a thing, because eventually obviously it'll come out that Sufyan did do it, so she's gonna look like an idiot. And and her being like BFFs with her Sultan, is not. Now that relationship is in trouble.
I just my biggest thing is I just don't want to see like something happening between Shahroz and Ushna, but let's see what happens.
And that's the thing, like, and if you think about it, like Zainab being like is putting her own house at risk and her daughters by like defending Sufyan for whatever reason.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I mean, let the police do their job, you know, let them figure it out or whatever.
I thought it was hilarious though that Sufyan was like, मैं तो कुछ नहीं किया and मैं तो बेकसूर, like just like lies just like flowing
it's
out.
Just show, yeah.
Narcissist.
Yeah,
a typical narcissist.
You're very
yeah.
right. Yeah.
Exactly.
And I did like the one scene with Shadows and Oshna where he was saying to her, like, she was like, I feel guilty because I feel like you've got shot because of me. And he was like, no, it was his Anna, that was like his ego that got that if he's the one that did it, it was his ego, not you.
He was like, he was like, it was because of his jealousy, and she's like, but he's jealous because of me, and he's like, no, he's jealous because of his ego, and and I was like, that is such a good thing to say. So I was like, wow, yeah, that was a really good line.
How refreshing. We need more heroes like that.
Yeah.
In Pakistani dramas.
Yeah. Yes, please.
So hopefully it doesn't go downhill like our friend Hamza in Humsafar.
Yeah, so with that, let's segue into, because I was thinking of apparently your biscuit award winner for, or co-winner for male in romantic role.
Yes.
Mere Humsafar.
Yeah.
So, because I've watched this drama and I'm up to date with it, I will say it's really cute. But it's also like a little. The beginning is very like draining with
like 8 episodes of like 8 episodes that they could have put in.
Yeah, if you haven't started it, you can pretty much skim through the first 8 episodes only just to get an idea of what the family dynamics are. But other than that, it's a lot of Hanya Amir crying, and which I didn't mind her crying. Some people said she looked stupid crying. I didn't. I think she's cute. She can get away with it, but yeah.
The amount of crying that she did, like that's a lot. That's like a lot to after like.
But it was like I did feel sorry for her. Here's a little girl who came to a country that she doesn't know anything of, never met these people. Her dad just dumps her at their dad's house. He remarried, and that woman didn't want to keep her, so he picked a woman over his own daughter, which is believable of a man, though. Like, and also, didn't he say he married her because he wanted to stay in England? Like it was a immigration issue or whatever.
Yeah, it might have been that too.
But
if Hala was born in the UK, like she's a citizen. So.
Yeah, she's a citizen. So yeah, he like drops her, and that scene where he leaves and she's like crying there, she's like, come back or whatever. I was like, how do you do that? It's so sad. And then but fortunately her daddy is like a nice shield for her in the house. I mean, but she can't always protect her from everything, And then her mother-in-law turns out to be really, really bad. But then the ray of sunshine that comes in her life is Hamza, fiance. They have really cute chemistry. He does really well. And I love how he's trying to build her up, like tum stand liya karo hala, tum bola karo, tum darti kyun, and stuff. It's giving her confidence.
One of you mentioned how he says some line like she's like आपके साथ कैसे चलूं or something, and he's like पीछे चलो, and then
he's like पीछे चलती रहो, खुद ही साथ आ जाओगी, like खुद ही बराबर आ जाओगी. It was really adorable. Yeah, the line. So the writers did a good job with their scenes and stuff.
Really cool.
And their casting
and build up and everything.
Yeah, following their story was really good. But again, in this, there's also a psycho cousin. Well, I guess she's not as psycho as Sufyan. But supposedly, for whatever reason, the Jitani and the Iranis had this idea that their children were going to get married. Didn't tell the children. Well, the girl knew, but Shah Jahan never told Hamza that, I've picked Narmeen to be your wife or whatever.
Samin,
sorry. She's
same actress, right?
Narmeen and what? In Badzaat?
No, and
Dubara.
She's Annie and Badzaat.
Oh my god, she's in 3 of these dramas. Yeah, always the other woman.
Yeah.
Okay, so Samin, yeah, and And in one of the scenes, you kind of like you feel good about her because when she first finds out Hamza doesn't want to marry her, and her parents get a little sad. She's like, अब्बू फिक्र नहीं करें आपकी बेटी कोई ऐसी वैसी नहीं है वो मैं पढ़ रही हूँ, and she says her पढ़ाई is number one. But then when he brings Hala and marries her and stuff, and she realized finally that he's not going to be hers, it becomes this blubbering mess, which I guess is understandable for like a little bit, but it's just her parents then have to like remind her, "Abhi to tum keh rahi thi ki tum like bhul jao or whatever, you don't give a damn."
Yeah.
So, anyways, and now she's getting scammed again. This is another example of stupid parents.
Yeah, they've like lost their mind. Like, who is this guy that you're sending a dish stuff for your daughter? You don't know where he lives. You don't know what he does. You don't know his family. You don't know. You don't know if he's married. You don't even know if he's married. I was like, you don't know if he's like already married. Like, you don't even know if he's already married 4 times. Like, how do you know? Like
we forgot to mention bad parenting and fraud too.
Oh yeah,
we forgot to mention that.
Yeah,
but yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, so it was good until the last episode because now Hamza, this guy that we find as our savior. I mean, we all knew something was going to happen because in the teaser and the OST we saw that he comes in mad about something. But
I thought you were going to say because it's a Pakistani drama.
Yeah, well, that too.
Yeah,
that too. But so Hamza, like, so mashallah, so they're expecting, like, as if they're a real couple, but. They're expecting.
That's how invested, but
yeah, I'm so invested. Like, I'm telling you, viewers watch this as reality. But so Hala is having like some leg pain or leg cramps or something, and the dadi says, "Don't take Western medicine. We'll do desi totke, and your doctors to aise hi kuch bhi khila dete hain." And so she's doing it, but Hala's not improving. So her mother-in-law, who this woman has been nothing but pure evil to her since the day she moved in.
I mean, she even said she even threatened to like make me jala dungi, like
Yeah, she has made death threats against her, like, right? So it's not like this is coming out of the blue or something, like out of left field, like you have no idea. This lady comes to you all nice and hands you a packet of pills. You, being the idiot that you are, say, okay, yeah, अभी मेरे and she's forcing अभी मेरे सामने निकलो, फिर एक गोली शाम में खाना, और ऐसे खाती रहना 5 दिन or whatever. So you being the idiot, you take it. And her husband had already said, मैं आऊंगा और तुम्हें डॉक्टर के पास लेके जाऊंगा, तुम ठीक नहीं हो रही हो. So at least wait for him to be able to come and read the pills or something.
Yeah.
खामोशी से और अच्छा चलो उस वक्त एक सामने ले भी ली तो जब मियाँ आया तो उसे बताया भी नहीं कि तुम्हारी अम्मी ने लाके मुझे pills दी हैं or something, like. Anyway, so then her tabiyat starts getting kharab, and so finally he has to call the doctor, and the doctor does the exam, and she's like, oh yeah, this is not pregnancy related, but yeah, I'll, have you been taking anything? And she's like, huh? And he's like, nahi, and she's like, nahi, हाँ मैं ले रही हूँ. So anyway, she brings the pills, and the doctor's like, ये तो इससे तो आपके बच्चे की भी और आपकी बेगम की भी जान चली जाएगी. And he gets all like, Hala, ye pills tumhe kisne di? So he already knows Hala's not capable of getting pills, right?
Yeah.
But then when Hala comes, like, I mean, घर का ही कोई होगा ना, right? It's not like कोई सड़क से आके Hala को, like, she has nobody else that she talks to. तो जब वो जाके कहती है, your mom, he's like, ऐसा नहीं हो सकता. And then the mom acts all like, अरे इसी ने किया होगा, ये लंदन जाना चाह रही थी ना, तुम इसे लंदन ले जा रहे थे, फिर कितना बुरी शक्ल बनाई थी इसने जब इसे पता चला कि तुम ये एक्सपेक्ट कर रही है और ये तुम्हारे बच्चे को मारना चाह रही है. Then he goes like, तुम मेरे बच्चे को मारना चाह रही है. And I'm just like, oh my god, you idiot. We lost respect. Well, I lost respect for Hamza. I was like, it takes that little for you to change your mind. Like,
at the end of the day, like Hamza believed that she couldn't do that whole like thing with like the van driver and Samin and all that stuff.
So yeah, that happened at the end. We didn't mention that. Oh no, that part with the
the reason why he married her, right?
Yeah.
In the first place, he believed that she wasn't capable of doing that, but he believes that she's capable of wanting to hurt her child. Like,
yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can maybe think, because you guys said towards the end he did apologize or something.
No, it's
Or
not that he apologized. He blindly so so then at the end of the episode, what happens
Yeah.
is what's his name? The guy's name? Do we
Khurram.
know? Khurram, yeah.
Khurram.
Khurram, who used to profess his love for Hala before she got married, but was actually engaged to Hala's best friend.
Yeah,
So
I think
that guy is a loser.
he was just
Um,
like scamming her because he I think he knew that she was like that she was from London, like she was from the UK, and so
yeah, he
that would be
obviously
his
wanted
ticket
to.
to it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she had a
yeah,
British passport. That's all he saw.
yeah.
Um,
yeah.
so anyways, he's now scamming Samin, which this girl is like the stupidest, dumbest like girl I could ever like, and her parents. Anyways, so वो आता है उनके साथ, like उन्होंने बुलाया होता है कि बाकी घर वालों से मिलाते हैं कि उन्हें
Hmm.
बताया हुआ है कि एक लड़का है हम समीन से, and the father lied and said मेरे दोस्त का बेटा है, because the older brother asked like क्या
Yeah, how'd you
खानदान
find it?
है
Yeah,
कौन है, and they don't
yeah.
know, so the brother, the younger brother, Samin's
Red flag
dad, he
number
said,
one.
yeah, he's like नहीं मैं जानता हूँ मेरे दोस्त का बेटा है, और पता नहीं दोस्त अब कहाँ है या दोस्त मर गए हैं क्या, पता नहीं वो explanation he gave. So anyways, तो वो उनको बुलाते हैं ताईजान को कि आप मिले आके लड़के से, तो ताईजान आती, ताईजान already knows Khurram because Khurram had come to see her about getting married to Hala, and so Taejan comes, and this woman, of all the like these characters, like they have these like roller coaster like trajectories in one episode, like इतनी smart बनी हुई थी with the whole pill thing with Hala, and then all of a sudden she comes and she's like अरे ये तो वही है, देखो ये तो हाला के लिए आया था, ये पहले हाला से शादी करना चाह रहा था, and she's like हाला आओ ना, तुम उधर छुप के क्यों खड़ी हुई हो, and Hala's like afraid कि मैं आऊंगी तो like वो हमजा क्या सोचे. So then Hamza comes in all macho and is like, मम्मी आप किसी के सामने भी मेरी बीवी को लाके खड़ा कर देंगी और ये सही नहीं है, and this मैं नहीं मानता, मैं इसकी बात का नहीं बिलीव करता.
Which at
But
the end of
then,
the day, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, there's nothing
well,
wrong with
yeah,
Yeah,
that. But
there
yeah,
was
yeah,
yeah,
all
there
she
was
said was he came for her hand. So
yeah.
what? वो
yeah.
बुढ़ा भी तो आया था जिससे
इज्जत से
इनकी शादी करा रहे थे ये लोग खुद ही तो.
इज्जत से तो हाथ मांगने आया था ना,
Right.
like,
It's not
right?
like
You know, फिर वो
ये
भी
दोनों मैंने इन्हें कहीं पकड़ा था किसी पार्क में
Yeah,
अकेले या कुछ. It's not like
yeah.
that. It's like he came to her. So
yeah.
yeah, it has nothing to do with anything. But he's like, but then Hamza's dad is like, तुम चुप हो जाओ, खामोश हो जाओ हमजा, मुझे सुनने दो. And he's like asking Khurram. This guy is like here to ask for like Samin's hand, and all of a sudden the whole family like, हाँ तुम बताओ तुम कैसे जानते हो. Fortunately, Khurram said, well, I mean, it's not like what chai mein kar raha hai, he has tricks up his sleeve. But he's like,
Yeah.
क्या हो गया आप लोगों को, मैं इस लड़की को नहीं जानता. And Shah Jahan's all like shocked. He's a scammer. What did you think he was gonna say? Like,
Oh, it's
हाँ
funny.
हाँ मैं पहले उसको धोखा दे रहा था ब्रिटिश पासपोर्ट के लिए, अब मैं इसको दे रहा हूँ धोखा. Revenge.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what you're thinking. So then they're
Yeah.
like, आप इनका इलाज to Shahjahan, like he's like आप इनका इलाज कराएं, इनको कोई mental issue है or whatever. I'm like, and then as usual, Hamza takes Hala away. Samin's parents take Samin and Khurram away, and then Shahjahan's left with her husband, who's already slapped her like 2 or 3 times,
Oh my
and
god.
and the mother-in-law, and yeah, and they're all like, "Arey Shahjahan, तो इतना भी क्या, like इतनी, like how can you have so much hate for that bachchi in your heart कि झूठा इल्जाम लगा रही हो ये और वो." I'm just like, and I think it ended there, like.
But now like Hala's dug herself into a hole, right? At that point, she should have just, if she had just been honest at
So
that point, right? If she'd been like, because that would have saved Samin from Khurram, right? And
yeah,
said, hey, yes, I wanted to marry him, but he was engaged to my best friend, and I didn't even know about it. He was scamming both of us. Like if she just said the words,
yeah,
right?
Fucking drama कैसे
So,
चलेगा?
and that would have been a great. That would have been a great twist because you would have seen like with Hala, like from before,
yeah,
from like
exactly.
yeah, that like now she's to
That
talk
she
like
has the
before she talks. Yeah,
confidence. क्योंकि वो
yeah,
दिखाती है that confidence when Shah Jahan says मैंने तुम्हें pills नहीं दी थी. She doesn't
yeah.
back
And she's
down.
like,
She
yeah,
stands up.
yeah,
She's like, and Hamza like माफी मांगो मेरी माँ से, and she's like मैं नहीं माफी
yeah,
मांगूंगी, मैं झूठ नहीं
yeah.
बोल रही हूँ. So good for her. We're like, okay, good. She has a backbone finally. She's sticking up for herself. Then the whole Rona Dhuna starts again, and now these new problems. And according to the promo next week, this coming in a few days, she's going to run into him because he's going to come around to the house more, and stuff. And Hamza is point blank gonna ask her, "Kya tum usse janti ho? Do you know him?" Even then, she should say something because at that point, if you
Then it's
lie,
lying. Then you're
it's wrong. Yes, a lie is a lie. Yeah, it shouldn't matter what your past was, especially because there was nothing wrong in it. But yeah, don't lie about it. Just say it. But yeah, like Sadaf said, drama aage kaise padega, where the problem's gonna come from. And the other thing I didn't like is, so Khurram calls on the house phone, and I don't know how many phones there are in the house. If anybody else can pick up another extension and hear them,
like a
but
landline. Yeah.
like, who even has those in their house anymore? Like, such like old. But anyways,
People do.
Yeah.
so she picks up and she's like, "Hello, कौन है?" And he's like, आपको तो हमारी सांसें भी पहचानती थी or something of that extent. And I'm like, you loser. Somebody pehchan someone's सांसें on the phone. Like, are you
How do
breathing?
you breathe?
Are you like,
What? Oh my god.
so stupid? Like, it's not like he said hello and was like, "Oh, आप तो हमारी आवाज भी भूल गई." You know, that would have made a little
Yeah.
sense. Like, आप तो हमारी सांसें पहचानती थी or something to that extent. Cringe. And then, but the funny thing is, you know, if I was in that situation, I would be like, click, phone down. I wouldn't
I
even
wouldn't even
entertain.
care if it was somebody I knew or not.
I
I'd just
wouldn't
click.
even justify that with a response. I would be like, here, mera silence pehchano. like, but she full on starts having a conversation like, "Mujhe call nahi karo, mujhe please, mujhe ye chhod do," or something like
Yeah.
something weird. And then and then Hamza walks in from the office and she sees him and clicks, turns the phone, hangs up the
Yeah.
I
phone.
think
Not
Hala,
suspicious at all.
Hala needs like a fairy godmother to be like, this is like you're somebody else now. You're Hala Hamza. Remember? Because they keep even saying like Hala Hamza is a different
She
girl
said that to
than
him,
yeah. She
yeah.
says that. So like be that girl that you said you were going to be different. So like
Yes,
that's the thing. Like
please
'cause
stay
they really
consistent.
disappointed us. Yeah, that's why I think what they disappointed because they're showing her change and then it's just she's back to the original
And
Hala there.
also, you already know you're on thin ice with him already. Wrongfully, but is
Yeah.
already upset at you for badtamizing with his mom and
Yeah.
stuff. And so I would be like, okay, I'm gonna be really careful not to.
Right.
At the end of the day, you still have you're the mother of his child. He's not going to leave you at this point, right?
I mean, it happens, Hadim. That's not true.
But
People
it's
leave.
Hamza, but like
There have been plenty
and
of Pakistani dramas, okay, where people have left.
so yeah,
Yeah.
so she's I just don't see how they could. I mean, unless it's like again bad writing, but they would just have him complete 180. Like, oh, you had a relationship before you and I just magically, like all of a sudden got like and they got, and at the same time he had asked her, is there somebody that wants to marry you? And she said no because at that point,
It was
Khurram and her
true,
were over.
yeah.
They're over. So, and she wasn't obligated to tell him anything at that point. I mean, it's not like he said like these are all the relationships I've had in Australia or whatever.
Right.
So.
Plus the way they got married, like if it was like they were in love and couple and then he finds out that would maybe be a little
or
different.
even if it had been arranged and then they had gone through the whole thing and had like a traditional like
Yeah, but I think going back to what you said, Haneem, the smarter thing would be for her to stand up and say, "Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know him." But also, maybe she was just afraid, like, or maybe not in front of everyone, but at least intimately to Hamza, to just let him know, "Hey, by the way, he's a scammer, and he was engaged to my friend, so just warn Samin."
Or if they had just said, like, even offline, like if Hala had told Hamza offline and we didn't see it as an audience, and they said, and Hamza was like, yeah, my wife has told me everything about her past, and
That would have
I know
been
this
good.
guy, right?
Yeah.
But
yeah,
like, and they could have flashed back to when that night when Dan was ran him over, right? And her telling him like, hey, that was that guy that then it would have made sense. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't do that. Like, okay, so
I'm saying I think we should move on. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. So Mini Humsafar is still going on. I'm sure we'll have many more discussions on it. Finally,
Biscuits.
Oh,
Biscuits, I
biscuits.
think
Oh,
four and a
sure.
half, four and a half, a half cut off for Hamza's like
I give it a
Annoying.
4.
annoyingness.
I give it
Four.
a 4 right now. Yeah, it needs to redeem itself a little bit. And
Yeah.
if Hana's back to crying, it might go
Yeah.
down to 3.
Yeah.
Because I want the character to move on. I don't want a character to regress. I want it to progress.
Yeah.
So okay, now
And that's
to a
Badzaat.
train wreck that you can't look away from, as described by
Yeah.
Hadim.
Yes.
Badzaat.
Oh my god.
So Badzaat is
Wait, one thing we
It's
should
a
have
hot
known
mess.
by its name,
huh?
Badzaat, that it was going to be a Badzaat drama.
It's a little disappointing because it had a strong start and it
It
had a
had a
good
really strong.
cast because Imran Ashraf is a really good actor and he's like the sabakama of actors that you expect
Yeah.
a drama that Imran
Greatness.
Ashraf has picked to do to be different and good and keep us entertained throughout. And I don't know, maybe he thought it would, but it's just there's a lot of like.
Maybe only read the first 5 episodes. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, Imran, the next time please read the whole script.
Dude, like I literally watched only 5-6 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you stopped. You got off the Badzaat train.
Yeah.
Well, lucky you.
And-
We're still on it.
And you know what annoyed me the most about this is that this drama is airing on Geo, and around the same time when like where you've got everything going on Bia where she gets attacked by Daniel and then the family forces them to get married, right?
Yeah.
At the same time you've got like dramas like Sippin that were airing, right? And you're like you see these like amazing progressive dramas about like women in the army, and then you're watching this stuff where it's like this bichari ladki who through no fault of her own is now in the situation where terrible parents, terrible
it's showing like really really bad judgment calls and decisions made by adults in her life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like the worst probably I've ever seen in any drama. Like,
I
mean,
and the fact is that she and Iran they had really great chemistry, like those scenes, and so you're like you're watching like the first 4 to 5 episodes, and it's very cute scenes. You see him fall in love with her, and it's very like natural because it's like he is somebody with a hard exterior, and then also he was like, and she was like a dead book, and he was like annoying her. It was funny.
Right.
So
and it's not like cringy romance like Daniel and Huda's was.
Yeah.
It's like a natural, organic, desi romance. And because desi romance generally is like the chirchar, the fake rules and stuff like
Yeah.
So it was really good. Then
by the way, you were mentioning. Sorry, I just want to say this before we move on. But like, Hadim, you were mentioning about how there were different types of dramas, and I just want to say I'm all for different like genres and stuff, and like like a variety.
Mm-hmm.
But there's some stuff that's just stupid and shouldn't be anything at all. Like
So with this drama, it's like you go and like it's 5-6 episodes, and then you all of a sudden it does a 180 and you're like this is a completely different drama. This is like a different tone. This is a different this is not what I signed up for.
The writer changed all of a sudden, maybe.
I don't think so, but and then even they could have saved it where Bia was like running away, and they could have like done that twist where Buddy was the one that was like taking her away, and and I was if I was a writer I would have done that. Like, okay, I put her in this like crap situation, and let's find a way out of it where she doesn't have to like marry this horrible person. Like, I mean, she was already naked, but like be succeed off with this horrible person. And so they could have had like when she was in that car, and they showed like Ali Abbas, like they showed Daniel, and everyone's like, oh no, like something terrible is gonna happen to her, and something terrible did happen with her.
Yeah.
The flip side, they could have had Wally there, right? And then everybody would have like jumped out of their seats and like shut the front door, like, this is amazing, right?
Yeah.
Like he's like here, he's saving her. He's promised her that he was gonna like, he was gonna help her out.
Protect her,
He was gonna protect her, even though he's risking his own reputation doing it. Because that,
But
like,
does
his
he have a
reputation,
reputation really? He's already Badzaat, so
yeah. But like the little that he had, like he was still, that he was.
Wasn't that what he was always afraid of? Like,
yeah.
Yeah, I
And then
agree. I agree. And it's also about a balance. Like, I don't want to constantly see evil winning. Like, it's like,
and she gets tortured and
बुरा
tortured.
like बुरा हो रहा है तो इतना बुरा हो रहा है कि मतलब like she has the unfortunate incident happen to her, then she gets kidnapped. What the hell was the point of that? I don't even know. Like, of getting her kidnapped, then like she miscarries, and then she like it's just one after the other. It's just like how much. So I really liked the fact that I think she already had the suitcase packed. It was the last episode where she had made the decision she's just gonna get out of the situation. Good for her. Like, I was really like rooting for her, and she almost made it out. And then I guess what you kind of just mentioned happened is Willie did come to save her, and like kind of like
He
took
didn't
her
really
away.
come
Like,
to save her. He took her. He took her because her mom's on
right, but like, where would she have gone with the suitcase? Like, if she had gone to her mom's was like was in an unfortunate accident. And promo shows she's probably gonna die.
But like,
so,
but like with Willie, it's too little, too late at that point, right? Like she's already gone through this horrible thing, and so like that's the thing. At that point, the writer should have been like, no, we're not gonna. It's not gonna be typical, like, because like what does Bia have? She has no izzat in this house. She has like terrible in-laws and like these people that have forced her to marry this horrible, terrible predator, right? So so just even showing that was like it was very off-putting for me. And so like, and then what like the thing is, there was like a perfect place to take her, which was his mom's house, right? So it's not like there wasn't anything that he could have, like, he could have taken her, and then there could have been like that mystery of him trying to hide her, Annie trying, like, figuring maybe out and blackmailing him or something like that, like, I know I know your secret, she's in the house, but you better let me do this movie or whatever. And so that could have been, like that could have been
that
the
would have
story.
been interesting. Like, give us something different, like not the typical, and what else bothered me is like Buddy's mom, Buddy's stepmom, Bobby Begum. It's like Bia's related to her, and Bia's mom is related to her, and even when, like, because you remember in one of the episodes, Danielle, like, her mom comes, and Danielle, like, बाहर दरवाजे से ही कह देता है आप चली जाएं या कभी मत आया करें, और आपने शादी कर दी ना उसकी, अब मैं ये वो. So she, like, blubbering and crying and leaves. Then she tells Bhabhi Begum, she's like, मैं आई थी और ये वो, और Danielle ने मुझे. So instead of Bhabhi Begum saying उसने गलत किया or going and talking to Akbar Hussain about his son, भाभी बेगम tells her, अच्छा अगर उसे अच्छा नहीं लग रहा तो फिर तुम मत आओ ना, उन्हें रहने दो, उन्हें वो करने दो. Like, what's going on, like, seriously. So I just don't understand. On the other hand, her nun is a refreshing character because she was trying to convince her mom and her brother to be good to her.
But like, I think her nun is still selfish, because like if she had been, when she found out that Danielle was like the one that attacked her and that's why they got naked, she should have been like, no, this is wrong, don't get don't
but
go
if he's
through with
already
this.
attacked her,
But at the same time, like,
to, like,
but she knows her brother, and I think Huda had mentioned to her that, like,
with the Nokrani's sister, he'd done it before.
So she already knows, like, her brother's a predator. So like, if she really did care about Bia, separate from her brother, then she would have helped take her out of the situation. But her role was really like making sure her izzat was saved in front of her in-laws, because her in-laws were like,
I don't think her in-laws, if that's all she cared about, she would have walked away. But she is genuinely trying to get her brother and her mom to accept Bia, like, to give her the proper place. Like, I think she's doing it genuinely. But it's also funny to see that her in-laws turned out to be exactly like not to to that extent, but they are like typical, nosy in-laws, like, oh, तुम्हारे भाई क्या हो रहा है, बिया कहाँ है, like,
So, I wanted to add, how dumb is Annie that she thinks that Danielle is going to marry her?
That girl always gets
Like,
In
worse.
every drama, she's like
You've al-
that.
you've already given everything away. Why would he marry you now? Like, come on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, what is
Yeah.
he? Yeah, what is he gain to marry you? Marry, and you already know like khandan kaisa hai, and so it doesn't. Like, how
Yeah.
stupid do you have to be?
Yeah. Do you guys want to just give out the biscuits for Badzaat and then just do like a
Negative,
conclusion?
negative trillion.
There are no biscuits for
I don't know why we're
Badzaat.
still
Hold
watching.
on, let's start like with the. Okay, so yeah, so I think we should wrap up discussion on Badzaat for now, and let's end it by giving out our biscuits or biscuit awards or biscuit stars, whatever you want to call them. Haim, since you got us vested into this, what do you?
Negative trillion, whatever biscuits. That's just my. I'm not sure why we're watching it. But like I said, it's a train wreck that you cannot stop watching, and you just, you know. So I mean, I'm sorry for the right. Like, you've got like this amazing writer, like these amazing writers that we have, and this writer who like started a really nice story. I'm not sure where, maybe somebody was like, oh no, we have to make it like.
Yeah, किसी ने कह दिया कि नहीं हमें 2 दिन में script चाहिए, and then he just like wrote whatever came to mind.
Yeah. So yeah.
Okay, so Badzaat has a lot of redeeming to do. Let's see if it can.
Yeah.
Let's
And
see if it can handle
next week it looks like it might get back to that romance
Yeah.
thing, because you've got Wali and Bia, I think in Nawab Shah, like, and obviously they're not going to be in the same house because she's, because they're not mahram to each other or whatever. But yeah. So
Yeah.
so it'll be interesting to see.
Do you have any biscuits or awards to give out? No, you said you stopped watching it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sadaf has no problem of ditching dramas in the middle. I try to stick around with them, but
no, I cannot.
I feel like if more people ditched more dramas, and they would stop making this stuff. I think that's the thing. I think we're part of the problem that are watching like the train wreck.
It's because they will always cite TRP over anything else, and me as somebody that writes stories, I'm sorry, but if you're a true artist, you care about the quality of your work, not like, I don't care if 10 people are reading my story or 100 people are reading my story. I want whoever's reading to enjoy it, and I want to be proud of it. And I'm sorry, I can't understand how some of these writers are proud of the kind of drama that sometimes are put.
Well, everybody's part of the problem, right? The writers, but also actors, and social media has done a little bit of harm, I feel like, sometimes to when it comes to artists, like actors, because you see them in dramas in a certain way or a certain role, and then you go to their Insta pages or their social media sites, and you see them acting in a totally different, modern, living their life. And it's dramas, somehow Pakistani dramas now feel like they're very out of touch with what's going on well, maybe it's happening in Pakistan. I just don't feel like living out abroad here that I believe that a woman would, go through this much torture and not talk back about it. Like, not say something about it. And I'm sure, unfortunately, there are a lot of women stuck in horrible situations and whatnot. But speak up about it, like don't be a punching bag all the time. And if you sense a red flag, if a man is not willing to admit your relationship in public, if he's trying to hide it, there's a red flag. If it's to respect yourself.
Be smart. Use your head.
Be smart. Respect yourself. He's not the last man out there. And yeah, it's we're groomed and we're kind of raised with that idea that you have to get married. But honestly, get an education. Get yourself financially as independent as you can. Don't be like blindly trusting that a man is going to provide everything for you and stuff. Oh, I want to see more stories where women are, the center of the story, where women show that they can do it. Like that their maqsad in the zindagi is not कि इस आदमी ने मुझे छोड़ दिया या वो कर दिया तो मेरी life is over, like मैंने इसी को देखा था अपनी जिंदगी में, और अभी उसकी शादी भी हो गई तो I'm gonna ruin another woman's house and make my jagah with. Once a cheater, always a cheater. If he's willing to leave a wife and come to you, are you ever gonna trust him, like, to be there the whole time? So, like, इस तरह की कहानियां, I feel like maybe once in a blue
And again,
moon they're okay. You know, अगर लोगों को मजा आता है देखने में तो चलो ठीक है. It's you can have that, but it'd be nice to have
But like
variety.
this really like star cast that's a great like, and what's funny is that people were comparing Manish's character Wali to his prior character Musa and Akshay Bismil with Sarah Khan. Musa was like, you know, Januni love, you know, for Sarah Khan's character. And I was like, I don't see it because if Musa was in the situation, he would have never have he would have killed like Tanya, like when he attacked, you know, Bia. He wouldn't have let her, you know, anything. He would have stopped that wedding, you know. He would have dragged her to, you know.
That scene was really stupid. Like that episode where she gets, first of all, attacked was him touching her, or that's as much as they showed.
But I think the writer, I think people had complained to the writer, and she had said like, you know, obviously we couldn't show the whole thing, but if
more stuff happened.
If Wali hadn't come at the right time, then she, you know, it would have been worse, I guess. So
in that public drawing room area that didn't even have a door, in that area, more was gonna happen.
I thought it was his room.
No, it wasn't his room. It was just this like
it was a library.
It was like a library den area, like with sofas in it, and like on the top of the stairs. It wasn't a bedroom. But the things that happen afterwards. So let's see if this makes any sense. Is that आपके चार दीवारी में एक incident हुआ है? Nobody will know about it until you go out and you know tell anybody. So it's not something that you know you can't contain. जिसने अटैक किया है आप उसी को अपनी बेटी दे रहे हो in the nikah. And also when there's another perfectly good man willing to marry her, although that man's Bobby Begum stopping him from, you know, but it's just like आपकी बेटी को क्या इज्जत मिलेगी? The guy didn't want her. If the guy cared about her izzat, he wouldn't have done this in the first place. So
you're literally handing her over to be attacked as he wishes. You know,
because they use the line like "Uska kafara karega." Like, no, he's not. Like,
तो कफारा वो इस तरह अदा करेगा कि उस लड़की को दे दो उसे जिस लड़की की इज्जत पे उसने हाथ डाला था ये कफारा उसका like it's just mind-boggling how none of this flows.
Yeah, that's it. So if they had Wali save her before, you know, all the torturous post-Rukhsati stuff that happened, like
Wali didn't. Didn't even have time because the moms were all emotional blackmailing, you know, like दिया मैं ये छुरी लेके ये fruit वाली छुरी लेके अपनी नसें काट दूंगी. Like what kind of grown-up person says things like that?
Yeah, and it would still be there would still have been a conflict because the nikah she would still have been like nikah to Tanya. So then that is like the issue that's between them. Hey, she's still married to somebody else. Right. You know, so.
Anyways, I have a long list of all the stuff that went wrong in Badzaat. Do you want to do a quick review of Habs, or you want to save it? How many episodes has been of Habs?
Habs has been about like 5 or 6.
Like fraud. Okay.
Yeah. So it's not. So it's going well. It's very romance novel-y, where you've got. I've read this situation of time, like, you know, it's going to be a marriage of convenience. So like the guy has to get married. In order to get his fortune or whatever, get access to his fortune, and the girl has some type of like
needs, like she needs.
Maybe it's like she's financially. So, and this Ushna Shah is like, you know, her family is financially unstable and stuff. So, and like her poor sister, like her sister who wanted to marry this guy, and her mom basically like derailed the whole thing because she didn't want her daughter to get married because her daughter was supporting the house. So she didn't think that, and even her daughter was like, once I get married, I'm still gonna support you. And like, she still like derailed the whole thing. And like the actress who played her sister Banda, like really, really, like her facial expressions were like really on point and stuff. And you could see that she's like losing the love of her life. And, you know, so that was, and, you know, and the one thing I hated was that she tried to kill herself over this, and so that was like, because like the guy was like, I can't go against my mother, you can't go against yours, so let's just end it now, which was very mature, I guess, because like instead of them being like, you know, forcing their parents to do that, because like at the same time it's like when you get into these situations where like, oh yeah, hum shaadi karenge and like baad mein maafi mang lenge, like at the end of the day, like you're never gonna have that right relationship in
Yeah,
your
because it started
life.
off in a bad way.
Yeah. So the fact that she tried to go, that was
Well,
over.
Ushna
I
Shah
had
tried to kill herself?
no, her
The
Oh,
sister,
sister.
her
sister.
sister.
Okay,
So
sorry.
So basically, like that. So now, like Ishna Shah has gotten a job as Feroz Khan's secretary or like assistant or whatever. And so we'll see in the next episode because in the last episode, she needed 4 months advance rent, and so she was like sitting in the office waiting for him to come out so she could ask him because her mom was like, "Khan mat aana jab tak tumhe paise na mile," and so like she was just
Uh,
sitting there. Oh, one thing before that, which was funny, was she had traded in her phone for like one of those like the Nokia small ones. And he
mhm.
was like, I WhatsApped you these details. And she was like, I don't, my phone doesn't have WhatsApp. And he was just like,
Who has
so,
that? Yeah.
yeah, so that was funny. So then, so she's like sitting there and then like he calls like the accountant, I guess, back and says like, "Esko paise wo de do," and stuff like that. And so it looks like in the next episode that the accountant's going to be like talking like, oh yes, give, itni der baiti huई thi and stuff like that. And so she's going to tell Feroz Khan that like, log baatein kare, and it's going to be like, I guess, an intense scene where he's going to be like, Mafi Mongo is there and stuff like that. So that'll
Oh,
be
that's
interesting.
nice.
And so, and the other thing is Feroz Khan has actually, so because he needs to get married. So Aisha Umar is like the daughter of his dad's friend. Um, and he like literally proposed to her on their like second date. And so she was like,
Wow, he's quick.
and yeah, because he needs to be, right.
Yeah.
And she's like, she's like, okay. So she said yes. But then she's like, oh, I have to go abroad for like, some like course or something. And he's like, oh, pehle nikah kar lete hain, and then you can go. And she's like, no, I want to get nikah
I want to be
after.
free when I go
Yeah,
out. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I like hers. Her thing was like, if she wanted something one way, then that was it. That like her way,
Oh,
and
like
he kept
mine. Right.
pushing,
Okay.
yeah, and he kept pushing it. And when he like, eventually she ends up breaking
Yeah.
off the
So, yeah.
engagement. So he's in a tough situation right now where he needs like the
The कोई
money
भी
for his
मिल जाए.
business. And yeah, so
Yeah.
so
Okay.
I'm interested to see what's gonna happen.
That sounds
So, do you think? Do they look good together? You think their chemistry is good?
Yeah. So far,
Okay.
it seems good. Oh, and the other thing is that his mom had left his father, and so he has like a hatred of like any woman. So like, there was like one scene where like Aisha Omar had seen like some guy friend of hers, he hugged him, and he was like very jealous about that because like,
Okay.
he thinks about his mom leaving his dad and stuff. So that'll be an interesting thing for him to like, I guess. And so like after his dad died, his mom's like come back into his life, but he like treats her terribly. So
Mm,
that's also another thing.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
it sounds interesting. I might
yeah,
start
it
it
sounds
now that I
interesting.
have some
Yeah.
time.
Once a week is not bad. So
Yeah.
not like a daily. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed our episode, our second episode. We had fun talking about,
Yeah.
and we'll be back with more reviews of the next the new episodes for these dramas.
Yep.
Thank you, and Allah
Thank you.
Hafiz.
Office.
Love is.